Hi everyone, I'm Miriam and welcome to my channel. In this series, 28 projects in 28 days, we're going to tackle different problems that I have seen on job descriptions and I have seen throughout my career in tech and finance. One of the most important projects that I have seen over and over again is customer churn. Today we're going to tackle that and we're going to start with Netflix. At the beginning, we're going to go over the problem statement and understand what is the customer churn and how it is affecting the business. Then we will move to some principles and outlining how we're going to tackle this problem, and we will move forward with some basic data engineering, future engineering, and very basic machine learning models. But in the next step, we will go a little bit advanced. My assumption throughout this series is that you know basic information about computer science, engineering, data analytics, or data scientist. So you are a bit confident in Python, SQL, PySpark, and you know the basic information about machine learning. In this document, you can see that I have outline the problem statement, what is the objective, what is the business goal, and how we are going to, understand the customer churn in the context of different industries. The main industries that I will be going to focus on are Netflix subscription services, Coinbase, JP Morgan or PNC banks, and some treasury management areas like business-to-business product usage ones. And for the start, we're going to start with Netflix. We want to see what the churn looks like. What does the customer churn mean in Netflix? It means if they are canceling their subscription. What are some features that we may need to understand about the customer? How long they have been with Netflix? What is their watch time? What type of devices they are using? What's their payment history? What is their plan type? And what is their streaming frequency, and so many other features that we will go over. And the goal is we want to proactively offer discounts, bring personalized content, or upgrade them so we can keep them. So the next document that I am showing here is how I am actually road mapping the project for this problem. First, I have explained what we are looking at. We are looking at the Netflix or any subscription services, and we are looking at key signals that can predict customer churn, right? Like as I mentioned previously, temperature, watch time, streaming frequency, so on and so forth. I have been looking for a data set that we can use for Netflix. There are some basic databases that are similar, but they are not exactly Netflix datasets. So there is no public dataset for Netflix that we can use for this experiment. I have found a couple of datasets from Kaggle, which for the basic part, we're gonna use that. But then we're gonna talk about how we can create our own dataset so we can closely study the Netflix problem. For the basic problem solving, the dataset that we are using is this dataset, Telco Customer Churn from the Kaggle. There are 21 columns for this data, including the gender, senior citizen, partner, if they have a contract for 2 years, how long they have been at the telco company, what is the total charge, monthly charge. You can see all the attributes here, like if they had a paperless billing, if they have multiple lines, if they have a streaming TV, if they have an online backup, and what is their payment method, are there any dependents, and what is the payment method, is it a credit card or is it a mail check, and if they have a device protection. The churn problem, what we are doing here is first we want to make sure that we understand the data here and the columns, and we're going to clean and pre-process the data, which you can see. So for the basic version, we're going to use XGBoost and we're going to use SHAP for explaining the outcome or all the variables and columns of the data. The first thing, as you can see, we are importing all the necessary Python libraries from data manipulation to visualization, modeling. We have Pandas, NumPy, MATLAB, Matplotlib, and all the others. We also, in the next step, after downloading all the libraries, we're going to load the dataset. So we mount the Google Drive, as I mentioned, and I load the Telco Customer Churn dataset into it. So the Google Colab gets connected to your drive, and you can pick the dataset that is there. The dataset simulates a typical subscription-based services like Netflix, as we talked about, and the goal is to predict whether the customer will churn if they are going to cancel their subscription. The next step is cleaning and pre-processing. We want to clean the dataset by dropping any missing values and converting the categorical to numeric. For example, the total changes, which has the yes or no as its values. We want to have it as 0 or 1. Or the churn column, which is our target variable. And we want to encode it to a binary values like 1 for yes and 0 for no. We also want to drop the customer ID because it has no predictive value and it's a noise in our data set. Next, we want to convert all the categorical variables into numerical format using the one-hot encoding. But remember this, we cannot do this and use this function get dummies all the time, because the data in the next video that I will share with you is going to be more complex, and this is something that we need to understand the data and the columns and understand what variable and value they are representing and how we can convert any categorical variable to something that is meaningful. So not all the categorical variable should be treated the same, but because this is a basic data set and basic machine learning problem, that's what we're going to do for now. Next, we're going to split the train and test data set. 80% of the data we are using for training and 20% for testing. This is usually most of the cases for any problem and any basic machine learning problem. That's what happens. We use the 80% for training and 20% for testing, and this helps us to evaluate the model. We keep the test data to see how well model has been trained by using 80%, and if we can detect what's going to happen for the 20%. Here we are using XGBoost model, which is a high performance. It's a gradient and boosted tree model, and it is very well known for its accuracy and efficiency. So usually when we are facing any problems in any businesses, one of the best models that it can be used to just start and learn about the data and the problem is XGBoost. For the evaluation, we're just gonna use the log loss. And at the end, for the model evaluation, after training, we want to predict the churn outcome on the test data and evaluate the model using a classification report, which is a confusion matrix. This helps us understand the model's precision, recall, and overall accuracy. And finally, we use the SHAP values, shapely additive explanations, to interpret the model's prediction. The SHAP values here, it helps us to understand the contribution of each feature to a specific prediction. And this summary plot shows us which features had the most influence across all the predictions. I hope you have liked this start for this series. It was a basic problem, basic data set, and basic machine learning. In tomorrow's video, we're gonna go over more complex data as a Netflix churn problem. We're gonna create our own data, and we're gonna look at the features that are needed for this complex problem solving at Netflix. If you want to solve these problems with me, make sure to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments what did you think. I will see you tomorrow.